Hey guys, it's Miss DeLitto. Let's take a look at dividing signed fractions. The nice thing about dividing signed fractions is that we can follow the same rules that we use when we're dividing integers. To review, if there are an even number of negative signs in the problem, our quotient, or the answer, is going to be positive. If there are an odd number of negative signs in the problem, our quotient is going to be negative. In this case, I see two negative signs, therefore I know my answer is going to be positive. I'm just going to make a note of that over here so that I know when I go back and check my answer that I should be checking to make sure it's going to be positive. When we divide fractions, it's best to remember the acronym KFC or KCF, and no, not Kentucky Fried Chicken, but K standing for keep, which means keep that first fraction the same. F standing for flip, and we're flipping that second fraction or finding its reciprocal. So negative 5/9 becomes negative 9/5. And last but not least, the C, which stands for change, and we're changing that sign to multiplication. Now that we have kept and flipped and changed, we can go through and follow the procedures for multiplying fractions. So to find our answer, we're going to multiply our numerators, so 1 times 9, which is 9, and 3 times 5, which is 15. And now we have to make sure we simplify that answer. So I'm going to think to myself, is there a number that I can divide both 9 and 15 by? And the answer is yes, I can divide them both by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. So negative 1/3 divided by negative 5/9 is positive 3/5. The next question we're going to take a look at is going to be a little different. I'm going to throw a mixed number in there. So 2 1/4 divided by negative 6/7. The first thing I'm going to think about is my answer to this question going to be positive or negative? And since there's only one negative sign in the problem, I know that means my answer is going to be negative. And again, I'm just going to throw a little reminder on here so that I know to go back and check that my answer is negative. Before we can follow our KFC steps, we do need to make sure that we change any mixed numbers into improper fractions. Since I have a mixed number here, I'm going to change that first. So we know 2 1/4 is going to be changed to an improper fraction by multiplying the whole number by the denominator and adding the numerator. So 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9, and that denominator stays the same. I'm going to continue rewriting the rest of the problem here. So now all that I've done is I've rewritten the problem exactly how I see it, because 2 1/4 and 9/4 are the exact same number. Now I can go through my KFC process. So again, K stands for keep, and we're keeping that first fraction the same. F stands for flip, so we're flipping that second fraction. So negative 6/7 becomes negative 7/6. And last but not least, C stands for change, and we'll change that sign to multiplication. Now we can go through and multiply. 9 times 7 is 63. 4 times 6 is 24. And we know that our answer is going to be negative. And of course we're not finished because we do need to simplify and make sure that our improper fraction is turned back into a mixed number. So let's think. How many times does 24 go into 63? I know that it goes in 2 whole times, and again, keeping my answer negative. 24 times 2 is 48. So I have now taken 48 of these 63 things and made 2 whole groups with them. So I have to figure out what's left over. So 63 minus 48 is 15, and our denominator stays the same. Not quite finished yet. I know I can still simplify -2 and 15/24 because I can divide both 15 and 24 by 3. So my final answer is -2 and 5/8. Let's go through one more example. 7/9 divided by -4. This example is now different because I'm dividing a fraction by a whole number. We still need to follow those same steps, so we need to make sure we change any mixed numbers or whole numbers or integers into improper fractions. So, I'm going to rewrite the problem, 7/9 divided by, and we want to keep this now as an improper fraction, but not change the actual value. To do that, I'm simply going to place that number over 1. We know that 4 divided by 1 is actually the same thing as 4. Now I can go through and I can KFC. So keep that first fraction the same. Flip that second fraction and change that sign to multiplication. And now we can go through and multiply. 7 times 1 is 7. 9 times 4 is 36. And again, I need to ask myself, first of all, is my answer simplified? And in this case, yes, it is. Second question is, should my answer be positive or negative? And since I see just one negative sign, I know that answer should be -7/36. Thanks for watching. I hope you had your questions answered, and good luck.